Okay, so this is the completed manufacturer engine using two subfloors to mix in 3 to 4 items, 2 per level, or just one on one level, two on the other. There are a few limitations to this though. One, I'm pretty sure if you're going to mix items, you have to keep them fed at a consistent rate. Otherwise, it could mess up the dividing. Particularly with factor splits, where it uh, reintegrates the unused parts to be split left and right on the factor split tree. And if the items aren't consistent, both items aren't consistent, then you'll have an uneven amount of one item going to left or the right. It's not going to get to every machine and at the rate it needs to, if at all. So the actual way you load it in is probably going to matter. The other limitation is you can only do so many parts on one line. Or rather, what you're combining parts on from two different lines, but the split tree can only handle so much before it gets overloaded and it stops working properly. As the split tree takes both items and divides them evenly between the two mergers. It also takes in the feedback, which is 1/6 of the total items, and is putting them also in two mergers. So if you have too many items going through the system, especially with the feedback loop, you can overtax even a Mark V belt at 780 parts per minute. Not as likely with two when mixing two parts, but still possible. And there's going to be cases where you're not going to be able to fit all the parts you need to feed all 20 machines of a specific part with one belt anyways. So you'll need to rethink some of your split trees, like for the silicon high-speed connector at 90 quick-wire per minute, that would be 450 quick-wire for every 5 machines. You can't even combine two of those to feed 10 machines, because that's 900 parts per minute. You can't put that on one line. Conveniently, the assembler engine for fused quickwire does make 90 per minute per machine, so you can literally just have 4 lines of 450 to feed straight from this engine straight into that one. But that's one belt into one 5-factor split tree underneath every 5 machines. So that's something you have to take into consideration. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of solution. There are even some recipes for the assembler engine that can't be fed from a single line. Although I think that's only the bolted frame, or no, not bolted frame, bolted plates recipe. Yeah, pretty sure that's the only the bolted plate recipe, because it needs so many screws. That's 250 per minute per machine. I think you would need like 8 lines to feed that many machines. Where is that recipe? Skipped it, didn't I? Bolted plates. Yeah, 250 per minute. You'd need 2 high-speed lines to just load 5 machines, much less 20. So there are situations where these engine designs aren't gonna you're at least going to have to reconfigure how it's loaded. And for the next engine design I'm working on, it's going to be even more difficult. Because although half of it's fluids, I was hoping I could mix parts again on a 2-to-2 mix going into 5-factor splits. Because I just like working with 5-factor splits. 20 machines is usually very convenient. It's going to be very hard to fit under here because of how tight it is. This thing fits on 2 foundations where manufacturers take up a little more than 2, so it ends up on 3 foundations. So that's going to be tight, which means the column in the middle to split it all is going to be tight, which means this is right next to the frame foundations, which means the outputs are going to be real tight. I'm just scratching my head at this for the past little while. I might need to put this on 3 foundations out anyways, just so I can have my outputs. The other problem with mixer engines is these recipes, whether it's item or fluid, can take a lot. So 150 per minute, that's just not going to cut it. Not without specific load method. 150 times 5. Okay, so I could feed 20 machines with 4 lines. That's going to leave me about 30 off of every line. That's 100. No. Yeah, 120. 120 excess parts off of 5 Mark V lines. What other recipes? Where's one with a lot of fluid? Because fluid's another thing that's going to make it a little more difficult to work with. 120 per minute nitrogen gas, whereas the highest line or the highest pipe can only hold 600 per minute. 600 times, nope, 120 times 5. Okay, so it would take 4 pipes. Rather convenient so far. I know there are some that aren't 150 bauxite. Okay, still manageable. Still requires 4 lines. This engine might just be like divided into 4s. And I might as well just design it that way. Fuel. Yeah, that's all okay. Yeah, but effectively all of these recipes, I'm just going to be feeding every 5 machines with its own pipes and or items. Period. I'm not going to be able to feed everything with just 1 line to go between 20 machines like I did with assemblers or manufacturers to a degree. And I think this is the last machine that can conveniently fit into a engine format. I don't think any of the other machines are that conducive to engines. An open top split tree under a subfloor for like refineries, sure. A 1 to 5 factor split can manage 24 items quite easily with a Mark II line. Foundries and smelters, they fit nicely. Assemblers, sure, but anything beyond a mixer, I really don't know. Packager, I mean, particle accelerator, no. Yeah, this might be it. This might be the last engine that I could design, or have any idea how to design. So yeah, this thing I managed to design for manufacturers, keeping it at 2 subfloors. It is practically the same height as my assembler engine, which is slightly higher than the nuclear reactor, just by a bit. If I designed the split trees differently like I did with the assembler engine and had the last set of belts as a roof, they would actually be the exact same size, because I would have totally just put my roof right over top of this, even if it clipped a bit, and this sticking out the top. So technically this is taller because of this little smokestack. Anyways, I'll keep muddling through these designs. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you when I see you.